On today's episode of the Command Center podcast, we talk Ovi breaking records.
The Grade 8.
And is he on the Mount Rushmore of athletes who do not give a
Oh my God, outlaw.
And we break down all the new rules. And is the tush push the greatest play of all time?
Gluteus
or is it unfair?
Maximus. It's unfair.
It all starts right now. Welcome into the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss.
Yep.
And it's always good to be back in the studio. We're not going to be talking so much football today. We're talking football today, obviously.
No, we're talking greatness today.
We're
talking greatness.
I don't know if you can tell, we all got our Capital stuff on today.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, you got to realize, Ovi has made the whole world look at Washington, D.C. All right, because we watch other teams do this all the time. We watch other players do it. We watch Steph Curry. We watch other people hit these milestones, and then everybody had to tune in to that part of the world where everybody was looking at Washington, D.C. to see when he was going to get the record, how he was going to break the record, and if he was going to break the record.
Yeah, and so obviously we're going to talk about Ovi quite a bit and like his impact on D.C. and what it means for hockey and all those kind of things. But before we get into that, we got a little bit of housekeeping. Just as a reminder, we do that other podcast, Ticket to the Draft podcast, where Jason and I do a lot of like draft rankings and stuff like that. And Fred is a guest on that show quite a bit. And we had a bet last year, and it was for who is the best draft analyst of the two of us.
Yes.
And so basically we had to pick 5 or 6 guys. I don't remember exactly what it was. Jason created a criteria and graded our draft picks.
Yeah.
And then this year we're going to see who kind of won that bet, who had the best ballers of that group.
Yes.
We're going to see who won because that show's coming out on the 17th.
Fred Kuiper. The one thing about Fred Kuiper is, like I said, he's more of an analytics guy. I'm more of a eye test guy. Okay. I want to see you play the game. I need to see, touch, and feel a prospect to say what he's going to be. And I'm looking for one word: love.
You said that yesterday on Get Loud, which is your show.
Yeah.
Well, love of the game.
Love of the game.
Let's specify that. Love of the game.
Specify, please.
Love of the game.
Love.
And so that bet, and so basically that bet is something that I really wish I hadn't have done because I got to get someone. If you lose, you have to get down on one knee and say that the other person is the best draft analyst.
You got to bend the knee. Game of Thrones. Bend the knee to something that's bigger than you. All right? That's what's got to happen. And I believe it's humbling. See, the one thing about being a pro athlete, ex-pro athlete, we get humbled on Sundays all the time. All right? So for one us to be humbled because the other one is a better draft guru is appropriate here. That's very appropriate.
I don't know about you, Fred, but I was humbled quite a bit in my playing career.
He's been humbled after his playing career, too.
Listen to him talk about that. You would
Plenty
never
of
know.
times on this show.
Lose all the time.
Yeah, lose all the time. So make sure you check that out. That's going to be on the Command Center show, which airs on YouTube. And if you're not, you should definitely subscribe to that show if you want all the new Commanders updates and everything. So make sure you check that out. The bet is coming up on April 17th.
No, my birthday.
It is your birthday, huh?
It is my birthday. It was the day my daddy held me up like this and say, "This shall be the gift
like
to all athletes."
Mufasa, just held that thing up. Dude, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you live. I don't know how you live just being so confident.
Bro.
Well,
I respect it. Everyone thinks I hate on you. I respect that about you.
Well, guess what? It's an omen happened now. My mama was playing pickup and run football with my uncles, and my uncle tackled her. They took her to the hospital, and she found out she was pregnant with me.
That's pretty wild.
So I was almost, meant to do this. All right.
Well, you also got another job that you never really partook in. I think you did once. You could be a stand-up comedian, bro. I heard a story the other day about Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
His first true gig or his first real passion was music.
Yeah,
They said he tried the stand-up thing on a humbum.
Yeah.
And became this famous star, celebrity entertainer /
I did
comedian.
it one time. I went on stage. I stayed on stage for like 30 minutes. I had fun doing it. Hey.
Yeah, man.
Really?
Freddie Murphy.
Were you like prepped for it or you just
No,
went up there?
I was literally doing a sports show from a location that was next door to the comedy club. And the speaker, they had us booming outside so he could hear us. And he was like, "Smooth, you want to come in?" Because I was joking doing the show.
Yeah, doing the show.
And he was like, "You think you can stay on stage for like 5 minutes?" I was like, Give me the alcohol and I will.
Were you like cutting up with the crowd, or did you have like something that you were?
No. I went back and forth with the crowd. I told real story, just people to people stories.
The same you do every day in here.
I can always tell when he's working on a new bit.
He turns it on, man. I mean, I'm impressed every time. I've been knowing him for too long, and I come in here every day, leaving here shaking my head the same way. You know, so hey, try it. You need to try it again, man.
Yeah, I might need to go on up there, man. I might send Kevin Hart home or something, you know? You never know.
It's funny because, Jeremy Green, the draft guy I was telling you about?
Yeah.
He started as a stand-up, and you guys have very similar styles. And so, like, it's interesting that you guys both have dabbled.
I just love to be happy, man. That's what life is about. I love to keep a smile on my face, and I love to make people smile. That's all it's about.
Make people smile. You know who's been making people smile for a long time?
Tell me.
Alexander Ovechkin sets NFL all-time scoring record with 895 goals, which is absolutely crazy.
And you want to talk about smile? He has the true hockey smile. Like,
you gotta respect hockey players, dude. You gotta just respect the hell out of them.
Until a hockey player smiles at you, you don't know the sacrifice of sports.
So one of my favorite Ovechkin clips is when he's on the bench.
Yeah.
He gets hit in the face with a puck.
Yeah.
And then just spits his teeth out.
Yeah.
And then just keeps it moving.
Yeah, that's what they do. Like, listen.
Tough as nails.
If you've never been to a hockey game, these dudes are huge.
Yeah.
And the agility that they skate with, like even when they sub, to me be so fast.
Yeah.
Like in and out the game. Like you'll be shocked at these athletes and they just getting bigger and bigger. Like people want to talk about the difference in Wayne Gretzky and Ovechkin and how they got to this point. Well, I hate to say it. If you want to talk about goalies, the goalies are bigger. The pads are bigger. The scoring zone is smaller. Like, it's so much different than it was when he played.
I like that you said scoring zone, by the way.
Y'all ever think about what we do as football players and look at them on skates? I think I guess you can say the era of difficulty in what we do, being on grass or field turf, or back in the day was turf. I think their level is much greater. Just holding you. Some of those guys are almost 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And they're skating on blades on ice.
Yeah.
And stopping on the dime, running into the board, checking. So I've always been amazed by how they can carry themselves and the impact of some of the things that they go through throughout the night.
Yeah.
And having to play 80-something games. That's always kind of blown my mind, man.
Listen, if I could just play hockey one game, I just want to put them Dukes up. Like, it's one of them sports.
You do not want to do that.
It's one of them sports where they just say, okay, go at it. Like, come on now. You know, football, we'll push each other.
But
we'll get each other face.
You have to be,
you got to be a goon.
Not even be a goon, because you could be a goon off the skates.
Yeah.
But on them skates is something different. You got to know how to carry yourself, balance yourself. You got to only use one hand, because you can't use both. You have no balance.
Think about your son or daughter just sitting there watching you go blow for blow with a dude, like y'all holding each other and y'all really just.
I saw one guy get shredded to pieces, man, because he couldn't fight back because the guy had him.
Had his arm.
He beat him in the reach and he just held on to him.
Yeah.
He basically brought him to him. Come here. And he was just giving it. I was like, damn, bro, this. Can those guys tap out? I never seen a guy tap out.
They will not quit. Even the dude that's getting whooped. All right, even the loser will not quit.
So every once in a while you see there's different scales to the hockey culture. There's guys that score goals. Usually those guys they are tough, but they're not gonna fight.
They're not the fighters.
And so if let's say for example,
line.
Fred's the goal scorer, and you want to mess with Fred from the other team. Like, it's my job to come in and be like, you're going to fight me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
it's the third line guys, not the first line guys. It's the third line guys that love, the defensemen that love to put them old-fashioned Dukes up.
There's some of the stuff like you're talking about, like there's a guy, like sometimes there's that guy that does the fighting, but also like there's guys that just got to know the hierarchy. Like there was I was watching the Bruins game, and the defenseman doesn't fight. He's not known as being a fighter. He's a very skilled player. But they attacked the goal scorer, and he just went up and was like, "All right, we're fighting now." You know what I mean? And so just understanding that weird social hierarchy in a hockey team.
That's why I love Tom Wilson.
Okay.
Because pretty boy Tom Wilson.
Throw it down.
Skates out that thing looking like Tom Cruise. And they be like, he ain't going to fight. Slapped like 3 people. He slapped like 5 people before the first quarter even over with. I love Tom Wilson, baby. Tom Wilson gonna get down.
Yeah, so obviously, like, the hockey culture is tremendous. Like, and, like, they're all good dudes, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it breeds this good culture. And then to get a guy like Ovechkin in this culture, too, like, he's such of the culture.
He's hockey personified.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so, like, you know, for him to be the first overall draft pick is insane. Like, you know, like, back in the day, he's been in the league for 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
20 years.
Crazy.
Is this the place of longevity? Daryl Green, 20 plus. Cal Ripken's 20 plus. Ovechkin, 20 plus.
Floating around someplace? Huh? Fountain of Youth?
It just something about this place is letting people play extended careers.
Yeah.
And all 3 of these guys have one thing in common that most athletes, we all wish we could. They all play for one team.
It is impressive, yeah. And like, I think about that sometimes too with like my career. If like you could have stayed in one spot for the whole time, you know what I mean? Like you could, there's less to worry about. You're not worried about moving,
your schools, none of that, family, no nothing.
But yeah, he's a really special player, man. And it kind of like it's the high level that he's played at, it's the consistency that he's done it with, and it's the length that he's done it for. And I think regardless of sport, you can appreciate what he's done.
He's 39 and had 40 plus goals. This never happened in hockey.
Yeah.
Like Wayne Gretzky scored most of his goals early. The later in his career, his numbers was like 19, especially at the end, 19, I think it was like 22. Like, so it just started to decrease. This guy's it's just steady the whole time. And that's what makes it crazy, especially in the time of this new time of hockey.
You know what's odd about it also is if you think back, 2 or 3 years ago, they was almost trying to basically tell him his curtains call for him now because it just, I guess his
age.
I guess the age or the play wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just because the team sucked.
Yeah.
You know, and they was saying, well, do you think
time to rebuild?
Do you think it's time for Ovi to put him up? And I'm sitting there saying to myself, it's funny how the narrative always come from someone else. There's always someone that starts that narrative about you. This is your last year. This is the last time we should be seeing this guy. Instead of just letting that athlete
let it play out.
You know what I mean? Show us or prove to us that he still has it. So that's one of the things that I appreciate more than just him, you know, I guess you could say being a leader now, overcoming the whole thing of just saying this guy basically wanted me to put my skates up. And here I am 3-4 years later. You know, not only this my team is going to the postseason, you know, probably 1 seed. I'm the best ever to ever, you know, got on this ice and scored the puck.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room? Now, I love Ovi already. But then when I found out his theme song is Bands Make Them Dance by one poet by the name of Juicy J, that did it for me.
And it does hit different when you hear him singing it with a Russian accent. It's different. It's a little different.
Just want to see him clap. I just want to see him clap. I just want to see it. Listen, it makes me want to take him out for a night on the town. Listen to me. He looks like that athlete that is always a couple athlete that you look at and say, I would love to go out on a night with this guy and enjoy it. Because you could say he just grounded. Like you could say he don't take Alex Ovechkin too serious.
I got a question for you, and we're going to talk about Ovechkin some more, but is he on the Mount Rushmore of athletes that just do not give an F?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, he is the epitome of I am hockey and nothing else. I don't care about anything. But Ovi, you got millions of dollars. Why is your teeth like that? Because I'm original.
Yeah.
That's why my teeth is like that. Bands will make her dance.
But I think it's interesting to compare him to like LeBron or, you know, like some of these other guys. Like LeBron spends, you know, close to $1 million a year on his body. He's got this whole
Russell
team of people.
Wilson.
And then all of a sudden, you know, you got Ovi doing bands make him dance and drinking vodka.
While he drinking vodka and Budweiser. I love it because it's this thing about athletes that everybody think we just wake up like an old boy on the internet and put our face in it. And like they think we got this routine and what do you eat? Lavender flowers? No, I eat fried pork chops. Like
some of us don't eat that all the time, right? You know?
Like it's like.
So who else would be on that list? I was just trying to think. Like who else would be on that list?
John Daly.
John Daly. I would say Lawrence Taylor.
Don't give a damn,
dude.
Dennis Rodman.
Cat from Denver. basketball, Denver center. What his name is?
The Joker?
Joker.
The Joker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He didn't even care about them winning the championship. He didn't want to see a parade.
I mean, it definitely seems like he hates basketball.
Yeah, no, he just happened to be 7 feet tall.
Don't give a damn.
Like,
But he's also like, that's the thing about him. Like, he doesn't, but he's so skilled.
Listen,
He's put in so many hours.
But think about,
he can't jump over a magazine.
Think about what they say about Ovi. They say, so I was listening to the guy the other day talk about Ovi, and they was like, you get into this world of athletes, and you see how special they are compared to some of the guys that's on the ice with them or on the court with them or on the football field with them. And you say, okay, the reason why, because Jordan went out there and put up those shots.
Yeah.
And Jordan did this. So LeBron put so much on his body and he still go get those shots. He still do it. Kobe didn't go out. He made sure that he was in the gym.
Yeah.
They said what you fail to realize about Ovi, he said he go out of town on a away trip and everybody's getting ready to do something. Ovi goes to the ring first.
Yeah.
He goes and get those.
That's what I'm
he goes
saying.
Get the work in. So you might look at him and say, yeah, he don't give a damn the way he party and partake in certain things, but something matters to him.
He's focused.
He's getting that extra
man.
work when it's time.
Focused.
Like, people don't understand, like, you mentioned the hockey thing and doing it on ice. Like, it's such a specific sport. And maybe that, like, you can go out and I can play soccer or basketball and it's going to help me get better at football, right?
Yeah.
Because there's change of direction. All that. Like, you got to be on the ice.
Yeah.
And to be that level of skater, that level of shooter, that level of kind of, and when you watch him play, again, his play style has changed a lot. From when he first got in the league, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a little bit more of a spot shooter, but like, to understand the spacing, where I need to be, where the puck's going to come out off the deflection, like, that takes reps and time, and he's obviously put it in. And so, like, you look at his body, it looks like he drinks a 6-pack a day.
Yeah.
But like, he knows what he's doing.
Did you guys ever play with anyone here that had like maybe a persona that was perceived a certain way on the outside?
Dude, so
they're grinding.
I got a question.
Freddie Davis.
No, I got a question for Fred. So when I got here, Bruce Smith.
Yes.
So I heard that he would study. He had like notebooks of every offensive lineman in the league, but he would do it like in secret.
Yes.
Like, he'd go like
He would not share it.
Yeah.
But
he also like would pretend like he didn't do it.
this is what Bruce would do, man. Like, when I met Bruce, he was in what we call the twilight. Right?
Yeah.
He was very much doing what Ovechkin doing.
Yeah.
He was chasing the sack record.
Yeah.
All right. He comes to me and Champ before the year. I'm a rookie. He's like, guys, I need y'all to cover just a little longer. I'm gonna break y'all off at the end of the year. If I can get this record.
Yeah.
I play on his side. I'm a right corner. He a right defensive end.
Yeah.
Now, my middle linebacker at the time, Mitchell was like, Smook, you ready to play the run? And I was like, what you talking about? He was like, Bruce is going to pass rush on first down, second down, third down. I like, what they run on first and second? He like, he's going to swim somebody.
Yeah.
And be damned if we ain't get right in the game and he is swimming people and they is running a tall sweep our way. But he would keep these meticulous notes on weak tackles and strong tackles. Yeah. And if he had a strong tackle coming, he'd be like, switch me to the other side. I'm going to get this record. Like, he was going to get the record.
But that's the thing is, like, everyone kind of, I talked to a bunch of people that knew him, and they were like, he'd always kind of do it
secretly,
like on his own. Like, he wanted people to think that he wasn't like putting the time in.
But he was casually him. Yeah. Bruce was casually him. And just like we were talking about athletes that enjoy the other side of this thing, Bruce was one of those guys. He enjoyed the outside thing that it brings, because that's how he ended up running in the circle as a rookie with Bruce Smith, Charles Oakley, and Michael Jordan, because they ran together in the city when I got here. Yeah. So here they taking me, and I'm the youngster out the group. And this is an unbelievable circle, guys. And I got to watch them up close, firsthand, like, enjoy the spoils of your riches.
Yeah.
Thinking about that question you asked, Jay, it's crazy because I remember at the University of Miami, we had Adrian James. He was like the guy he was like our blueprint. He showed us, like, I remember his freshman year, watching him when I was in high school. I'm like, man, that guy got something. Then I remember my freshman year, him being a sophomore, and watch how he overtook that starting position and kind of like just like, bro, I'm finna show y'all how to get this money or how to get to the next level. But besides that, when he came home every year, and then by the time we caught up with him and got to the league, we all did the same thing. I'm talking about we would go out, we would meet up at his condo, go out, have a good time. But what we didn't know, when he break out and leave, he was going to go work out.
Yeah.
And he did it. And at one point when we was hanging, he was the one that wasn't drinking like us.
Yeah.
We was having a good time. And it's now he drinks like, like a damn sailor.
And he's a gambler because he whooped me out of $500.
He would shoot pool.
He beat me out of pool, $500.
He was one of those guys that can hang out and be around all that without partaking in nothing and then go get that workout. So just to answer that question, you have to make sacrifices. There is guys that you might look at and be like, why is he so special? Because he's doing the same thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's something he's sacrificing. He's sacrificing somewhere down the line something that you might not be sacrificing. And that's just one guy that came up in mind. I feel like I got a couple more guys I can.
We won't talk about guys that beat the streets as much as they beat the field.
Mm-hmm.
You got one representative who I love, Michael Irvin, baby.
Michael Irvin.
Like somebody.
But I don't think his perception, what they said about him was real. You know what I'm saying? Like he did work hard. He did work hard.
He always worked hard.
But he did that and partied hard. You know what I mean? So he was a guy that you saw him work and you saw him party.
I got a question for you, because the other one that I always wondered about was Deshaun Jackson. Because Deshaun would act like he was like asleep in the meeting, like he wasn't paying attention, hoodie up, pulled down, but he never. Anytime you ask him a question, he I knew the check versus cover 2, or I know what a thunder looks like versus all these different, or he never made a mistake in practice. So I don't know if he was studying, because you were in the room with him. I don't know if he was studying on his own, but he was a guy that,
That's a good question, because I never really personally asked him or looked, but I knew he always was sharp. He knew himself.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's guys like that where he kind of brought
nonchalantly.
Yeah, he was like,
here.
He's like, I don't really care, but like obviously you care.
He's doing it somewhere.
Studying and you're doing something.
Guys know how to be pros. I mean, guys just, you can say that about CP. CP was a guy that CP wouldn't come to practice. CP would come to practice with them flat shoes on, and you knew he wasn't
in a bag of McDonald's.
And you knew what he did the night before, and you knew what he was finna do after he leave practice. And then he would go out there and get you 180, 2 touchdowns, and you'd be like, bro, this dude is special. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say too, this is how you know that you in a league amongst guys that. Everybody's not wired the same.
Yeah,
and I can tell young guys, bro, you can't do what I do. And I can't do what you do. So therefore, find who you are. And you see guys searching for themselves, and they looking at guys like DJ or Adrian James or Deshaun, because they're doing different things. They try to follow.
They try to mimic it.
I always told you, Tanner, why you come to practice so hard? Because I got to practice. I want to feel like I'm in a game, because that makes me ready for the game. If I'm sitting around, I've done it before and played well, but it don't sit well with me. I hate to not know what's going on, then have to be bombarded with that, come game day.
Yeah, to that point, I bumped into one of my old tight end coaches at the combine, and he was with an offensive line coach that I had when I was in Atlanta. And they were kind of shooting this, going down memory lane, whatever. And he goes, you know what, man? If you had ever had a drink of alcohol, you never would have played in the NFL. but my process was different than a lot. Like I was every meal planned out, every workout planned out, every inch I could possibly get. Because, God gave me what I got. And it was pretty good, but it wasn't as good as Santana or Fred Smoot. And so, it's just interesting. Everyone's kind of got to find their way.
Yeah, but, you got to find your way.
But it's all about being a pro. I
think if you would have had a sip, you would have turned into an animal. I think you'd have went out there and hit him for 200.
Basically.
I think it would have gave him an edge. I think he'd have been Jeremy Shockey, if you would have had just a sip of that. See, I should have got Big Mac McKinney, and we should have took you out for a night on the town and showed you what you really are.
Nah, man, keep Logan how he was. Logan, I used to get them damn slip screens. You see Logan coming. I'm like, well, damn, Logan blocking 2 or 3 guys,
just a big old back, just there.
Not a lot of athletic juice, but I was going to try hard for you.
I think if you'd had some, just a sip, you'd have at least a face tattoo.
I do think it's crazy though. This is we're getting way off the rails here. But I think some of the best players I played with were a little bit liability. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, you cannot have. If you got a football team, now the choir section,
everybody can't be.
The choir section where you are, it has to be minute. It cannot. You got to have a couple of guys that you be like, I don't know if he's going to show up to the game tomorrow. But if he does,
he's gonna ball.
If he does, he is going to show out. You got to have that balance.
That's how I knew how different we were when we had Zorn. I love Zorn to death. See, I'm one of those guys that can appreciate Coach Zorn, because Coach Zorn told me, shut up, 10, I got to get you the ball. When you're a receiver and a coach understands, because he was a quarterback, man, I'm getting you the ball. So I was cool. But the only thing that I say I can kind of draw the line with, when he wanted all us to be hey, don't you want to be more like that guy? No. I'm cool with him being him.
Yeah.
You can't ask everybody to join that
Yeah,
circle.
everybody can't be James Thrash.
You got to have different circles. And it was funny because like we always share these stories about the locker room. You're going to get the guys who go to Bible study over there. You're going to get the guys over there who just
doing whatever they're doing.
out, doing what they want to do. You're going to get the guys who are talking about the stocks and the bonds over here.
Yeah.
You're going to get the Fred Smoot circle over here that's laughing
what y'all doing tonight?
And then you got certain guys like myself that can navigate in every circle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have those guys that, man, I could get into. I'm a chameleon. I can fit in with everybody.
Yeah.
But you can't get the whole room to
be the same.
To be the same.
No, you don't want that.
You got to have different characters on your team, and that's what makes you win. That's what allow you to go out there and have the team that you have. Successful teams. I mean.
Yeah, I think that's what makes a good coach. That's what makes good leadership. Is understanding that like he's a little bit different, you're a little bit different, but I know how to speak to both
All of
groups
us.
and
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah.
That was really interesting kind of detour there. One last question about Ovechkin though.
Yeah.
Will we ever see anybody like him in DC again?
Yes, I just named you 3 that did the same thing.
I tell you like this, man.
No, but I'm saying so what I'm saying, it's like so you mentioned Darryl Green.
Yeah.
I forget who else you mentioned. Darryl Green.
And Cal Ripken Jr.
Okay.
Cal Ripken.
So, but I'm saying Ovi is maybe the second best hockey player in the history of the NHL.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's different. Like,
Yeah.
You're saying the hierarchy is different.
Yeah.
yeah, like he played
So
for
when you
20
ever get a
years.
guy-
Like, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like,
Dominate his sport. You saying?
and I got one in mind. I got one that could maybe do it. I think
That's playing right now.
that's playing right now.
And I say this.
I say it will be. I just can't give you no names.
Yeah, well, James Wood in baseball right now plays for the Nationals. He's 6'5", 230 pounds.
Damn.
He whips that bat like a maven, but he also runs like he's 5'3".
Oh, really?
Like he is a animal, Dylan Cruz. Like we got some young dudes out here, and
I gotta go
Jaden
to a game
Daniels-
this year. I gotta go to a baseball game
yeah,
this year.
let's go. I go all the
I
time.
never
You got
go.
Jaden Daniels. People gonna say, all right, that's a good view.
Yeah.
Like he might can step in there.
Actually, that was the one I was thinking of because I watched.
Yeah.
I'm like, what he did last year was so special.
Yeah.
Like how he handles himself off the field is so special.
Yeah.
Like there's a chance.
Yeah.
And I
a
got an
chance.
if in there. If the Wizards continue to stink like they stink, we can get Cooper American flag.
Please don't try to name him American flag.
That's it.
He's
That's
the
it.
person I saw who ran out with the American flag, boy. We talking bad about him right now.
Hey, listen, Duke lost. That's fine.
You know what I'm talking about.
But this dude showed that he is the truth. And that we get him in
How
this
old is
height.
he? He's like 17, 18?
18
Yeah,
years
18.
old.
Just turned
And you know, we
18.
talk like we never meet anybody from Maine.
Yeah.
He from Maine. All right. So him and his 3 cousins that all live in Maine gonna come on down. Listen, it's some guys that I think young, good talent. We don't know the future with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just.
No,
you
yeah,
just
and
don't
it's
know.
and it's so hard.
I like the question,
because
though.
again, he's like this is like he's like the LeBron James of hockey.
Yeah,
You know
most
what I'm saying?
definitely.
Like I actually think it's a really good comp.
So I was gonna ask this question. This is the question I have to ask. With Ovi surpassing
Wayne Gretzky,
is Gretzky still number 1? Like
Dude.
as
No,
a,
well,
as,
they gonna say Gretzky's still number 1
Dude,
because
so
of
he's
his
still Michael
assist
Jordan.
numbers.
So he's
okay,
still
so
Michael
first,
Jordan.
so
His
this
assist
is really
numbers.
That's
interesting.
why I want to know because I'm like, now is he the greatest hockey player
They
ever,
go, they,
or
they
is he?
will, they will. Boy, if the calendar
Jason,
would come looking for you.
Can you look up Gretzky's assist numbers?
I just want to know how does it how does it lie? You know what I mean?
When Jason looks this up, you're going to understand how good Gretzky was.
No,
so this
I told you.
couple
He had
things.
double the assist numbers
So-
that
Couple of
Oh,
things.
we got
Yeah,
it.
a couple of things. So basically, like goalie play has gotten way better.
Yeah.
Right. The game's gotten better. It's
Yeah.
just a better quality. But also, Gretzky did that with a flat stick. So like they curve the sticks
Yes.
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
they do. Curve
He
sticks.
did it with a flat stick.
Mm-hmm.
So the control that he had with that stick
It's different.
is incredible.
So it's
Yeah.
almost like the guy who can control the messy them,
Yeah.
soccer wise.
Yeah, yeah.
and he was so
Pele.
was so
Pele.
far ahead of the game at the time.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like it's hard to quantify. I'm trying to think of a good comparison. It's like when it's
he
like,
was he was Wilt Chamberlain.
That's right. That was exactly what I was
It
gonna
was
say.
unfair.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taller than you. I'm faster than you. Throw me the ball. I'm a dunk it. Wilt, how many points you scored the other day? 100.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like that.
Like the game doesn't fit. I'm like so outside of the game and so big. And the only thing that made Gretzky to me, all the points I've heard over the last month is everybody always goes to his assist, saying that he was a more rounded player,
Gotcha.
and Ovi was a goal
He's a goal scorer,
Yeah.
which is not bad. But I'm just saying, like,
nothing bad
and the
about
other thing about Gretzky, and this is probably how you feel about Jordan to a certain extent, is you don't have modern hockey without Gretzky.
Yes.
Like, he changed the way you
He
play
changed the game.
Just like how Jordan changed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's that type of
And
vibe.
before your time, because you don't remember this, me and Tanner do, the cartoon.
Oh yeah. Gretzky, Bo
you were
Jackson, and
talking
Michael
about that.
Jordan.
Gretzky,
Yeah.
Bo Jackson, and Michael Jordan on the cartoon.
That was dope, man.
That
I had to get
introduced
up.
us
Yeah,
to hockey.
Gretzky, yeah, because I knew nothing about hockey until I watched that.
What we got, Jason?
Gretzky's assists, he has 1,963.
Dang.
Ovechkin has 724 right now, so he's not going to
bad.
catch
1,000?
Yes.
1,963.
He almost got damn near 2,000.
So he had like 2,000 points.
Yeah, his points are 2,857.
Oh Lord.
Which
so,
is
so in hockey, just safe to say, in hockey,
That's not going to ever.
so
be
in
broken.
hockey, assist is like having a
You count it as
scoring
a point. Like the way you
point,
count it is
yeah.
like how many so when you say how many points you got, it's assists and goals.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what separates them.
That's
One
cartoon.
passes the puck.
Yeah, so he
the
was.
other one dominates.
So he was
the
a
puck.
LeBron James.
He was
before-
very much
on
LeBron
ice.
James.
Yeah.
He was LeBron. He was more Magic Johnson than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but LeBron has more assists than a lot of those guys who was considered leaders
Point
in
guard.
assists.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously Ovechkin's really a special player, really special for the area. Really excited about what he's done and
It's my guy.
kind of what it means for the
Great Eight.
grade 8.
Grade 8.
Okay, so now let's talk about some football. All right, so the kind of a slow time of year for football.
Yeah.
So we got rule changes.
Never slow time for
Because they just
football.
had the NFL owners meeting and they talked about rules, and so we're going to kind of go through some of the new rules, talk about what we think of them, and we're going to finish with the rule that we think is the most interesting that was actually pushed to a later time to talk about.
All right, no
Okay,
problem.
So let's talk about the first rule. Playoff overtime rules now. Playoff overtime rules are now the way that they're going to handle regular season overtime.
The Josh Allen rule is what I call it.
It is.
It's they only did it because the guy couldn't get on the field because one Patrick Mahomes.
But I think they always did this because they wanted the games to be short. Do you think this affects that at all?
I think it does because if I know offensively I'm gonna get that chance,
Yeah.
it can extend the game.
It don't, at one point in time when you got in overtime, you didn't care about not getting the ball.
It's whoever win the coin
Because
flip.
I'm just saying, but nowadays, like,
Offenses are so good.
I want that ball because I want to get a chance to be, to score and get them out of there. Now, I think changing this rule back gives you the opportunity to say, okay, who cares?
Calm down.
Who cares to get the ball? Let's reset and let's go out there and have a nice game plan because regardless of what they do, we get the ball.
Do you think it matters in the regular season? I don't really think it matters, honestly. Like, a tie is a tie. You know what I mean? I don't know. Does it matter? Or does it just make it more fair? I guess?
I think it does because now gambling is so big part of the game.
That's a good point.
And I think that drives think about it. They putting the chip in the ball this year.
Yeah.
All right. So now the chain game. You know what we used to seeing? Like I don't think we have never played a game without a chain game. None of us.
Yeah.
All right. It's in 5 years that chain game gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to see that game because I want to still see those
you
guys.
still want to see them walk out there and say first down. It's something to that. You know what I'm saying? It's something to that. And I just don't know, even with the chip in the ball, how are you going to spot it in a pile?
So what they're doing is it's still a manual spot.
Yeah.
This is also a rule that they voted on. We're going to talk about later. We're going to talk about it now. So basically now it's still a manual spot. They're just digitally measuring the chains.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what they're doing
I can dig it.
is they're essentially just trying to speed up the game. So instead of having to call the chains out, here's the spot, you just buzz the referee, hey, they're this short. Boom.
But it's nothing like the exhilaration you get from when that chain get extended and it's dead short and we on defense and I'm like, hey, no, they ain't get it.
Are we just old men though? Is that why?
Yes,
we look
In
dinosaurs.
tennis where they have the eagle thing where the ball hits the line?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll introduce that for entertainment purposes?
They have to.
Like just a slow pan of a digital chain. You see instead of
I'm about to throw up in my
Straight
mouth.
Tecmo Bowl.
I'm about to throw up in my
Now
mouth.
you play Tecmo Bowl in that game?
Yeah, I know.
You know when they put the rule in, I was like, oh, this is going to be good because it'll speed the game up. But I forget because the game's about drama.
Yes.
Right. And it takes away some of the drama.
as a fan, that's why this overtime rule is amazing because I want to see Jaden touch the ball in overtime.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. Even though defense is just as important as offense, and your defense can go win you a game, still it's more fun to see Jaden out there, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Like, that's entertainment wise. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what
going to
it's
say it's more of a duel then. It becomes more of less, may the best man win.
Yeah. And I think, so I think the overtime rule, it adds to the drama. I think the measuring rule takes away from the drama a little bit, but I think they're also trying to speed the game up, which I appreciate. All right, this one I think is really interesting, and I want to get your take on this, Tana. The touchback is moved now to the 35-yard line. So I think they're trying to promote more kickoff returns, obviously. So you think good, bad, and different?
I like it. But at the same time, when you have a guy with a huge leg, it's like, damn, so now I'm telling you to kick it shorter. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I'm going to take a little bit from what we got you here for just because we don't want to give them that 35-yard line, and get them a touchback. I still like it, though, because I feel like, they changed the whole style of the kick return for that reason, for us to see more kickoffs, kickoffs being returned. And to me, I think that's a part of the game that eventually, we talking about the chain, being taken away from us. It's going to be guys losing the job if we don't see guys out there returning kicks. You know what I mean? So,
and I actually like
it's fair to me.
And actually, I enjoyed the new kickoff rule last year. I thought that was a good decision for the game. But I also it wasn't. The punishment for a touchback wasn't significant. It was still to the 25.
Yeah.
So now to move to the 35, now there's a schematic game plan element associated with it, where it's like, hey, we got to be smarter about how deep we're kicking it. We're going to kick it high. We're going to do directional kicks.
Yeah, that's wrong.
And so I think that'll be, again, it adds drama to a play that was losing drama.
Yeah, I enjoyed
I was just going to say, say for instance, you have a weak kickoff team. Like you find out throughout the year that we still giving up more than
just not good
than the
tackles.
yards that we would like to. Do you still say, man, I'd rather give it a touchback
100%.
and see them guys at 35? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be teams that's going to still say, man, I'd rather opt out of that.
Yeah.
Put them at the 35-yard line. Our defense good enough to stop them.
But I think that's when you look at last year, we did not have a strong kickoff kicker. I think the guys did a good job kicking field goals when they had to.
Yeah.
But, they built the kickoff team
so that they could have.
I've been saying they was some
phenomenal.
ants on bread.
Yeah, so we're ready for it.
Yeah.
As Commanders, it's good rule.
So I know I'm jumping in a lot. I'm just having these thoughts while we're going. Do you think a rule change like this and the way that we're doing kickoffs now help or hurt somebody like Brian Mitchell getting into the Hall of Fame?
No, I think it helps B. Mitch.
Yeah.
All right, because for example,
Well, I think
Eckler. Watching Eckler this year, and we had a debate before it started last year, what position do we move back here to return?
Yeah.
And we was like, it got to be your third down running back.
Yeah.
It's more built for running backs now than receivers. But it didn't stop Turpin from Dallas from excelling at it. So I thought it was exciting. I thought it brought some more drama to it. I actually liked it.
but I think it helps B. Mitch stay relevant.
Yeah.
Because you're not talking about remember back when we used to do kickoffs? How crazy was that? Oh,
Yeah.
B. Mitch, who cares? Now you see the impact that he had every single week. It was starting to kind of wane, right?
Yeah.
Kickoff returner, not a big deal. But now you see why that position deserves to be the Devin Hesters, those guys, why they deserve to be in that situation.
Yeah.
So the other one that's interesting is replay assist on objective plays. So this is a little bit confusing. So basically, if there's a penalty, they can pick up a flag.
Yeah.
They can
Jason, is that a good way to say
They
that?
can correct themselves.
Yes, they can correct themselves, which
Yeah.
I actually
Which happened to us 3 times last year.
Yeah.
And it was against us. It wasn't for us because it was a couple of times we can easily say, hey, go back and look at that. You know? But 3 times in the game, I remember being at the game vividly sitting there frustrated because I'm like, bro, how can you change that call?
One person was in 7 accidents. Zach Ertz. Every time I look up, I'm like, you remember the catch for the first down? And they was like, he ain't getting to the first. I'm like, he passed the first down.
Pittsburgh,
What are you talking about, dude?
That would have been an interesting one.
They did that us. They did that play cost us more so last year than it was, when it came to helping us.
Honestly, this is a total aside. But if you have a chip in the ball and you have a chip in the sticks, you should be able to digitally say, get rid of the spot, I think is the thing that I want to see, right?
Yeah.
If that ball has a tracker in it, and there's 2 of them, one at each end, and you know exactly where the ball is, they can figure out where the knee's down, that's how they should spot the football.
Yeah.
We're at a point now where digitally we can do it, and it would eliminate all this kind of subjective whatever, still bring the sticks out, I don't care, but the subjectivity in those big moments of the ball spot, I think that's something that I think the NFL can work on correcting. And I know that's an aside.
No, I get you.
But I think that's because the other thing about that rule that we just talked about, replay assist on objective plays, is they cannot assign a penalty. You know what I'm saying? they can pick a penalty up, but let's say, for example, they go back and review something and
see something else,
and they see a bad hold.
Yeah,
I cannot.
Yeah, I totally understand. Which you can call holding on every play.
Yeah, so I can't give that. So I think that'll be interesting. I think that'll be helpful. I think anytime you can make it a little bit more transparent for the fans, like anytime a fan sees something on TV, because like I will say I have a lot more empathy after watching from the sideline last year. A lot of stuff happens.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's happening, and people miss stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so to give those referees an opportunity to kind of save face, make that correction, I think is the right thing to do.
But I think also that's the reason why you have certain guys watching certain things. You know what I mean? You have
New York, people in New York watch.
No, I'm talking about like far as the ref on the field.
Yeah,
they're not watching the whole game like you probably watching the game like we are on the sideline. They watching, I got to watch the ball.
I'm the line judge.
I got to watch back here who's holding on this side. You know what I mean? So you have guys in spots of the field where they shouldn't miss some of the things that's in there.
I'm really glad you brought that up because I remember talking to a linesman and I was like, what are you watching? Because like I was trying to figure out who's going to call me for holding. Really is what I was trying to do. And he was like, I'm actually watching the first receiver and the end man line of scrimmage. Yeah. So it's even more narrow than you think, right? And so I do think that's a good point. But again, they're people, they're going to make mistakes. Yeah. So this gives the fans and them an opportunity to make it right. Next one, I don't know how I feel about this one. Thursday night games can be flexed on shorter notice.
I hate it.
Used to be 28 days, now it's 21. And I agree with that's the way
I hate it. Thursday night games are already a dread for players. And now
so Jason, they can be flexed to Thursday night?
Or flexed away from
Thursday night.
It just says flexed on shorter notice. So my guess is
I would hope
like
that is to say that you no longer have a Thursday night game.
Because do they care?
To put me in a Thursday night game,
I'm hoping that's what it is.
But to pull somebody out, you got to put somebody in.
And like here you go. Like, all right, let's forget the players. All right, the players already hate it. There's no secret. What about if I'm the fan that has been playing in this?
That's a great point.
For
that is
months,
a great point.
And I'm talking about I done brought my travel.
Yeah.
I got my hotel. And all of a sudden, my team play on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like at one point, it has to be some continuity to this. Yeah. Now, I know the networks, as the year go on, one team is better than you thought it was. One team is worse than you thought it was. We picked a bad game. Just let it stick.
So my question would be, you know how we always get that one game on our schedule that they say TBD?
Yeah.
Will they have that already?
A part of the Thursday
part
night.
Of that Thursday night saying, well, TBD. So the meaning telling us fans, don't go out there and buy that ticket yet because we not sure. I mean, you have to give them some kind of leeway in that. I mean, because if you just say, we're locked in for Thursday, we see our schedule, and then you get in week 5, that Thursday night game you had in week 8 is changed now because of the way you plan.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's
crazy. All right, think about this. Some of these cities that these teams are in are destination cities. Like somebody going to look at it and say, no, this is a trip.
Yeah.
We just going to happen to go to the game. All right, let's just say I'm going to the Raiders Kansas City game that's in Vegas. I'm going to Vegas as a vacation.
Yeah.
All right?
And I'm going to the game.
And I'm going to the game. And now it ain't no game.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you want to do like an historic city like Lambeau, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's no game, right? And it's or a different time or the change is different.
Yeah.
Like it's this
better
to me.
Go up there and get you to see some cheese.
Yeah, I'm going to say, might well get some Milwaukee bets while I'm up there.
But this one feels to me like a
mistake,
like a network.
Yeah.
A network.
Like it came from the higher ups.
Yeah, like money talks. Some of these I really like because they're
some of those they got to put their shoe in their mouth. They'll go back and say, you know what,
this don't work.
Yeah, this ain't gonna work.
But like some of these feel like they're actually helping the game flow, the continuity of the game. This one feels like I want to make more money. I want the network to make more money, and it's a $1 billion industry. Like these are some decisions that have to be made. Okay, this is a fun one. I don't really care about this one, but I think maybe Fred and Santana do. Maybe some fans do. Alternative and throwback uniforms can be worn more frequently.
I love it.
I love that.
You look good.
I love that.
You look good, feel good, play good, get paid good. That's just the way it goes. And I like some of the throwbacks. I enjoy.
Yeah.
I think it makes you think about the older players when I see the younger players wear them. I always hated the league telling us what we can't wear.
Yeah, or when to wear.
When to wear it. Like, don't tell me that. You talking to the father of the color rush.
We spent this money on these jerseys. I want to bring them out tonight.
Like I said, as I gently said, I started the color rush.
You ain't start. You was on the team that wore.
I was the person that went and asked Coach Gibbs, but can we wear this burgundy and burgundy and burgundy? And he was like, yes. Before you know it, the next year, it's a color rush week. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, Fred reminds me of like that like there's like a subtle person in history that has a big effect. You know, like Fred got Joe Gibbs back. Fred started the color rush. Fred, yeah.
So you say, so you say basically I'm Paul Revere.
Yeah,
I rolled the red coaster coming.
And you just get it all stirred up, right? You're like,
I saw the first barn of hay.
Did you guys have a favorite jersey that you wore?
Color burgundy on burgundy.
I like when we was playing our last year, I liked those yellow pants. So it didn't matter what jersey you put on top of them.
Yeah.
I preferred the burgundy on top. But when we wore the white, they was just as smooth. So
I liked when we wore it was a different type of burgundy with the spear on the helmet.
with the spear on the helmet, yeah.
And it was like the gold pants were like this
brown.
old
They were
brown.
like brown. That was one of my favorite throwbacks as well.
Yeah. So I enjoyed red rocking those right there.
Jason, you've been a fan for a long time. Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, that's my favorite
this
one that Fred's talking about. Yeah, but the thing that they have in here is alternative jerseys. So, like, it doesn't have to be implemented this year, but this is a good time to just try new stuff. Like, if we ever done, like, maybe it will look terrible, but we ever done all gold or, like,
I've been asking for all
like
gold
that,
for 100 years. I'm talking about gold helmet.
You haven't asked for that.
I'm talking about gold jersey. I'm talking about 14 karat hair. Bruno Mars singing when we come out here.
I like the burgundy in there, though. That's just me.
We actually wore the gold helmets one year. I think that was 2006.
But did you go gold
You was
pants?
back. Gold pants, white jerseys, and gold helmets.
Now I remember that with the R, right?
Yeah, because I got a picture of me like this doing the freaking first down.
With the R. I remember that.
I don't remember any of the
I got a
jerseys
picture
that I
of
wore.
it. I'm gonna pull it up.
All right, so jerseys, that's fun. All right, now let's get into Risk It for the Biscuit, and it's the tush push.
You gotta
And we
risk
pushed
it.
it to this moment because it's the tush push. You get
Yes.
it? Got it locked
Buttocks.
in. And that is presented by Marsh McLennan Agency, your partner in risk and people strategies. Okay, so basically they're trying to get rid of the tush push. And
Thank
it was
Lord.
proposed by the Green Bay Packers, and they decided to table it for future owners' meetings.
Yeah.
Okay, and so there are 3 arguments around it, and I kind of think they're all, except for one, they're all kind of Bush League. I kind of think they're all Bush League except for one. So one is it's unsafe.
It is.
I don't think,
First of all,
is it more unsafe than anything else?
It's written in the rule books. No offensive player can help another offensive player move forward by pushing them. Like, so it's against the rules already.
So to me, that gets to the second point. It's like unsafe. Like, I don't think it's any like if you want to talk about kickoffs are unsafe. Catching a ball over the middle field is unsafe, but it's part of the game, right? And I think that's where. But the thing that you said is that it's unfair.
Yeah,
it's unfair.
There's some steam there.
It's not fair.
There's some steam there.
it's unfair, and to me, to pile up that many people in this little area is unsafe to me.
Yeah.
Like, y'all don't feel like my defensive line, my D tackle's going through it. But me as a defensive player, I'm seeing them get off the ground slow. I'm seeing them get their neck bent up in there. I'm seeing them
But it's
get
the same thing for the offensive line.
I look at it like this. If you're going to say that you're going to emphasize or
Safety.
put an emphasis on safety in this league, then you already know this play shouldn't be allowed because you're saying that what these guys are fighting for now, a lot of these retired men is fighting for when it comes to concussions and all that stuff. Put it like this. You can just play football as a D lineman, offensive lineman, and be one of those guys that's sitting out there saying, I need some money. I need something because I'm not right.
Yeah.
So why would you allow this on top of what you're already fighting for now, trying to not give those guys that saying that they don't deserve that?
Yeah.
They're going to deserve it now.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to deserve it.
So we're getting a little technical here with like
it's technical, but it just ain't right.
So what I say this too is like when you play in the line, which I did right for a long time.
Yeah.
Every play is a collision.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Like is a big helmet to helmet, like it's a thing, right? And so in some ways when you're close, like on a sneak, for example, I've never done a tush push.
Yeah.
But on a traditional quarterback sneak, it's actually a little bit
safer,
a little bit less impactful.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of like working an edge.
Yeah.
Now, the way they do it for the center, I'm sure is a nightmare.
Nightmare
For the center because he's he's actually tunneling underneath there.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that does not feel great.
Anything can happen to his neck doing that.
Yeah.
But on the whole, the sneak for the perimeter guys tends to be a little bit easier, tackle, even guards. But so I understand Tana's point though. Like I understand your point. But to me, it's if you want to like an ISO play with a fullback and a linebacker, it's probably one of the most unsafe things you can do.
Power Bobo, same thing.
It's really unsafe, but it's kind of part of the fabric of the game, right?
Yeah.
And so that to me is like where this kind of lies, just from like a O-line perspective. Like this is people run quarterback sneaks. It's a very physical play.
All right, this is what I say.
I lean on the unfair part of it more so than the unsafe.
This is where I think the
because
argument
I feel like if you're going to allow somebody offensively to push, then defense will be able to do the same thing.
Yeah. To me, it is.
That's where I think the rule is. Yeah.
Rugby is not a popular sport. Nobody watches rugby. And you brought this point.
Just not popular.
I love rugby,
just not
by the way.
as popular here
than it
love
is
rugby.
in Europe.
Yes, you do, because you're an ogre. All right, check this out. That's why you don't care about the tush push. Me as a player, if I just went 3 plays and we stop you enough.
So this is where I think it's beautiful. And I'm going to explain why. Because the NFL is an offensive-driven league, right? And all of a sudden, you've given the offense an opportunity with a 78% efficiency rate to stay on the field and keep that offensive drive going. I get to see Jalen Hurts more. I get to see A.J. Brown more. And I get to challenge the defense in a way that's never been challenged before in the NFL. So it is an exciting thing.
Don't y'all got enough rules meant for y'all already on offense? They got us as defensive backs. We might as well just go out there and turn around and get burnt. Because guess what? It's already built for y'all.
This is for me. I'm an offensive player, Tana, right? I'm an offensive player. I like offensive football. Be better on first and second down, Fred. Be better. Be better. Make it a 3rd and 4. Make it a 3rd and 5.
How about you just run power Bobo and see can the best man win? How about you run off tackle? How about you just do a regular quarterback sneak? How about you do that? Well, you know what?
Let me say this.
We was better on 4th down than them, and we never ran a tush push.
That's a great point. And I think that's the thing. That's the other thing about this play is there is an element of skill to it. Because everybody in the league could run this play. But who runs it the best?
They do.
The Eagles run it the best.
They got a quarterback that squats 500 pounds.
Best offensive line also in the league.
They've got a great O-line. They've got a big quarterback. But if it wasn't, so this is the thing. If everyone was doing it, I'd be like, yes, it's unfair. Yeah. But they're the only team that's been able to
The Bills do it.
I'm going to be real with you.
But they're bad at it. We just talked about
quarterback
it.
6'5".
But that's the point. They have found an edge. And they've gotten good at this play. And if it was a competitive,
I'm not hating on them.
You are offensively rotten to the core.
I'm offensively rotten. But if
I'm an offensive guy, and I just feel like fair is fair. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna take that stand all day. Fair is fair.
If the defense is not allowed to push, the offense should not be allowed to push. That is.
See, I'm about to go Frankie Louvu on y'all. That's what I'm about to do.
I just saw you.
I'm about to go Frankie on y'all
but
now.
It's to me, it's not. It's in some ways, they've figured out how to do it better than everybody else, and it's pissing everybody off.
Hey,
now it's not fair.
No,
so that's where I said 2 of those 3 things are total Bush League. I think the fairness one, I'm 100% on board with.
Hats off to them. Trust me. Last year, I had no problem with seeing them efficient. I'm trying to find a word for it. I had no problem with seeing them be as productive with that play than as they were. Yeah. I feel like every time they lined up and I'm like, it's going to be a touchdown. It's going to be a first down.
Yeah.
My only stance on it, like I said before, how could you tell us on the other side, if I'm a defensive player, that I can't get behind my lineman
and push them?
It don't make sense. So, look, hats off to you. You guys went out there and found a play that's going to put you over the top of everybody else, which they did. And then you got to think about it also. You talking about us just being more efficient 4th down than them doing what we did. We also was one of those teams that stopped them multiple times at their own thing. You know what I'm saying? So they was finding different ways to do it against us because we was stopping them. But you just have to, if you're saying this game has to be fair, we trying to make everything fair enough for us to do things defensively, offensively, special teams wise. Right there, that's where you draw the line because it's not fair.
I'm about to go to Gainesville and get this 400-pounder, the tush push stopper.
What's his name? Watson?
Yes. The big dude that's 422 pounds.
Dude, 446.
Yes,
huge,
I'm going to bring him in here.
Mammoth.
And I'm going to hit him in the neck with a little Ozempic.
Desmond Watson.
Desmond Watson. I'm going to hit him with a little Ozempic. Yeah, turn him to put him at 404. And I'm going to say, you got 4 plays every time we play Philadelphia. And when you come in here, just don't move.
Hey, what if we do draft that kid?
I mean, he'd be a free agent. But maybe.
No, this is what I'm saying. I guarantee y'all. We need to talk the day after the draft.
Yeah.
I guarantee he get drafted by a team in the NFC East.
Yeah.
For that one play, for that one purpose, refrigerator. Get in there. They're going to have a refrigerator. Get in there and stop that.
You know what's
that boy
interesting?
a deep freezer. He's not refrigerated.
He's an industrial fridge. The thing is that I like when you go back and watch all the tush pushes, the people that are the best at stopping it are super quick.
Yeah.
Like Duran's really good at it.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald.
They beating the center to the punch.
They're beating the center and they're quick swimming the center.
And they're not big.
Yeah.
They're
not
the
big
smaller
guys.
detail because there's actually
because they're beating the one
guy you got to beat.
The one guy you got to beat.
And that's the center, because we done seen this where he'll snap the ball and his first initial plunge doesn't work.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he gets pushed to the side where the guard is, and that's where now they pushing him. And it's just crazy.
I think Tom Brady was the best quarterback that I've seen.
Right. That's right.
That did quarterback sneak. He would get it and find the right little crease that he can just slide through.
Yeah.
And so when I watched them do it, I'm like, Tom did it for years without all this mess.
Without the BS.
Well, he's good at it. He's good at it.
He's very good, and he's tall, which you expect him not to be good
And he was almost already going for it.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as he got that ball, he was beating the defense off. They doggone, jump up the ball. So, but I just feel like it wasn't fair, man. And like I said before,
and it's aesthetically it's ugly.
You got to give Philly all the credit in the world.
But the offense gets to stay on the field, though. And that's good.
But no, it's not good.
It's good for me.
We don't keep jobs by letting y'all stay on the field.
I know sitting there saying, man, half of my rushing touchdowns was from this.
It is crazy when you look at his cut-ups. It's like, oh, man, he's got 10 rushing touchdowns. And you're like,
9 of them are tush push.
8 of them are like,
9 of them are
So Jason did a good job, and he always does a great job. But the Eagles have scored 27 touchdowns and recorded 92 total first downs the past 3 years on this. They scored 11 touchdowns with 32 first downs during their Super Bowl run in 2024.
Ridiculous.
That's a lot of touchdowns. 11 touchdowns, a lot of touchdowns.
Hey,
and I was trying to figure out, I was like, why was Sean... Because Sean's like heading this up. You're like, why is he so pissed about it?
Yeah.
And it's like, because they lost in the playoff game.
I've been saying, listen, somebody got to speak up about this Travis Sharon mockery. Right? This is not part of the game.
So was it Green Bay or the Rams?
Green Bay threw that hate. Yeah. I'm glad Green Bay threw that hate.
Boys. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be like, hey, if I'm Sean, I'm like, hey, just put that out there real quick for me. And then I'm going to carry this thing. I'm going to tush push myself across the goal line.
Listen, I got a feeling that they're going to ban this play. I got a feeling they're going to ban this play.
The only thing I think you would change, and it would make the play go away, is just say, hey, offensive players, you cannot
push.
This used to be a rule.
It's still a rule.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand.
It's still a written rule.
You can't push a ball carrier forward.
No, you cannot.
So I don't understand. That's where I get confused by this, because it should not be legal.
That's the thing that makes it odd.
And the name of the play is push my tush.
So the one thing I thought they might be getting away with is that they're actually pushing the O-linemen. But then I've watched a bunch of them because getting ready for the show.
They push the crap out of the
quarterback. They push the quarterback.
Yeah, if you're pushing the O-lineman, that's fine. But
that ain't fair either.
But it's in the purview of the rules.
We just gonna tell them, man, watch us on 4th down. We gonna show you how to go ahead and move the ball.
I will say like that. So everyone talks about how this is unfair, right? I think it was 78%, right, Jason? Yeah. And I think the Washington Commanders were 83% conversion rate.
We was on 5.
Which is when you put that in context, like that's crazy.
And half the time we was throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So, but when you got a Jedi, that can force move some stuff, it makes it different. Like we don't need to. Like our quarterback is so good as a thrower, that they have to say assignment first, stop the throwing, and we rally to the run.
And he was special too.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of guys that can throw. And that had others that had his skill set. I think what was best that stood out from Jaden, he can dissect the open. He can dissect a defense. No matter what you presented to him, he found the open guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he had a way about even if he's not open, I'm gonna give him an opportunity.
I'm gonna throw him open.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw him open. So that's what to me that's his gift.
Yeah,
he can throw the ball exceptionally well. But he also threw guys open and threw at the right time, right spot. You had guys like Ertz. As soon as he put that foot in the ground, ball coming right there.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't have to think about it.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
You got something?
Yeah, I'll fact check myself, Fred. I promise. But I actually think they changed the rule about 5 years ago that you can push an offensive player at the line of scrimmage.
At the line of scrimmage?
And that's why the Eagles went and started doing this.
It doesn't shock me, Jay, because
I'll fact check myself.
No, but I think that's what I thought. But
for the offense.
Yeah.
Every time we have this every year, it's never it's never for the defense. It makes sense.
Well, so I love defensive football. I love watching defense. I love good, like, that Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Rams a couple years ago.
I hated it, but I know what you're talking about.
But like, it was such a good defensive struggle.
Yeah.
Every play was important.
Yeah.
Most fans don't think of it that way.
Yeah.
Like, so when you ask fans what's the best Super Bowl of the last couple of years, they're going to say that one where it was like Philly and New England. It was like
it's like in baseball. They change things, with the bats now because they want to
shift it.
They change that too.
Because they want to see offense. They want to see home runs. They want to see balls hit.
And so that's one of the reasons I think this gets tabled is because it makes for better offense.
Yeah.
It lets you stay on the field. It lets you possess the football.
No,
and I think that's
football, period.
I know.
I liked watching Frankie Louvu try and stop it.
Yeah.
So, but then they said you can't do that.
They said you can do it.
They say we just going to award these guys a touchdown.
So basically what it was like it was going to be delay a game. It's essentially what they were going to say. And then if you get the delay a game penalty, we can now award the score.
Yeah, but the Eagles were hard counting him to get him to do that.
So
now you're at a point where like we're allowed to push.
Okay, I was going to say that.
You can't jump over, and we're going to hard count.
So he can jump over. He just can't.
Score.
Or how about we say you can push tush, but you got to do it on one. Everybody, it's fair now.
Dude, that would make it easy.
You got to do it on one, and we gotta. Because
I guarantee
us as a defense have to sit there and wait because you can now get in that formation as an offense and say we gonna hike on two and we gonna do something different. We ain't gonna push to. You know what I'm saying? You got to make it. To me, I say you have to make it even for the defense not to just sit there and get blowed off the ball because you're hard counting us one. We can't get a jump, and then you're getting pushed.
But I do think you brought this up, Tana. Like the Commanders stopped it. I think three times in that game, and then they stopped it earlier in the year. So there's a way to do it.
Yeah,
it's just they're getting every year they have like a little pitch off of it. They got a hard count.
Y'all are that with that one rotten apple to just spoil the whole bunch. That's what the tush push is. All right, we got all these good plays, and this one rotten play.
It's a good play.
It's
what's the play supposed to do?
First of all, you know what got us to the league? Santana Moss got Santana Moss to the league independently. All right, independent contract. All right, he didn't get here because somebody was pushing his butt across the line.
I was wondering where you was going with this.
I'm just saying.
I'm like, we had a couple coaches along the way there.
He got here off of his skill set. Nobody got pushed to the league. Like, so why when I get to the league, you would think this type Bush League stuff will happen in college, right? Where you can experiment, where everybody's looking for an edge.
I think the rules in college are still that you can't push forward.
At least somebody got it right.
You know what's crazy? Like, they remember that rule last year about the RPO where it's like you can't have like, it was something where you can't like pitch the ball forward and then throw a pass or whatever? It's because they started doing it in college. Like, it all started like, because the rules in college were getting into this, like, if you watch college football, like Wake Forest, when they do that RPO where it's like 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, and then there's people downfield, like, because they had to change that because of what they were doing in college. But anyway, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just
don't think it's skill.
There is skill to it, Fred.
I don't think it's skill.
Me and Tanner are on the same page. It's not fair. If I can't push as a defensive player,
you shouldn't be able to push as an offensive player.
Correct. That's really what it boils down to.
Think about quarterbacks from the past or running backs from the past looking at this like, you know how many people could have pushed me into the end zone? Mm-hmm. Like, I just left 40 touchdowns on the table.
The only thing I keep coming back to is that no one else does it as good as them. So there is skill to it. I don't know what it is. I can't
give you props for being the best cheater in the room. I can't give you props for finding the loophole.
Yeah. I mean, so I think back to 2012, and Kyle found a loophole. He basically brought a college offense to the NFL, and that was awesome offensive innovation.
And guess what? This called ingenuity. This called taking things to the next level.
So I would, as an offensive play caller, they took it to the next level. They said, we've got a quarterback sneak.
And nobody nagged about it because it wasn't cheating. He brought education to the table. This is not a controversial play. He brought, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it.
To me, you know what it feels like? It feels like we're so good at something.
That the world hates us.
That the world hates us. That's what it feels like. It feels like, because we could do it here. Anybody could do it. Anybody could do it. But they are the only ones that do it. So it's literally like, hey,
It's almost like, too, man, folks don't want to do it because they don't want to be jocking what Philly's doing. Like, they don't want to look at like copycatters.
Thirsty.
You know what I mean? Like, because we did some funky stuff one time or two times, that presented like, okay, we finna do the same thing, and then we pitched the ball back and somebody threw the ball. But it just feels to me that Buffalo say, screw that. We got a quarterback that we feel like we can.
They try it all the time.
He gets it every now and then.
Yeah.
Philly's just unbelievable with it because I think more so because of that offensive line.
So that's where
And maybe I just hate it because I hate Philadelphia as a whole.
I think that's fair too. That's a fair criticism.
Yeah, you can't hate though.
Yeah,
I don't hate the fact that they're exceptionally good, and I just hate the fact that they don't allow the defense to kind of get off the same way.
At least give us a counter to it.
So if you have thoughts, feelings, big emotions about the tush push, please leave a comment. Because, I think it's cool, but Fred hates it. So
it's because it's literally a butt push.
And
let's be honest.
Tana's probably the most in the middle.
You can give it a great name, all you want to. It's just like me lining up, and I'm looking back. Can't wait till you push this tush. What's wrong with y'all?
Man, nobody ain't thinking though. What you tell them? Hey, get the right cheek.
Yeah, make sure you stay on that left cheek, man. Come on, man.
Oh my God, bro.
All right, so that's going to do it for today's show. Please leave a comment if you feel some type of way about any of those rules. And say congratulations to Alex Ovechkin. That's awesome. Leave those in the comments. Love to see those. But that's going to do it. And so please make sure you like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And we will stop the gluteus maximus progression.